We're live. It says we're live.
Hello, everybody. It's the Fippin Bunch. Here we are.
Woo-hoo. Hello.
Hey, tonight we have just 3 of us in the house tonight, and we'll go through a quick introduction, and then we are going to talk about paints, techniques, and then whatever else we have time for. So I am Dar from diys-by-dar. And I have a YouTube channel, I have socials, and I am at this point, the last year that I've been creating pieces, a maximalist artist, furniture flipper. Now it's to you, Krystal.
Hey everybody, my name is Krystal and I am the Craft You Creech, DIYs and furniture flips. I dabble in a little bit of everything. I love crafting and mostly furniture. That's my favorite. And yeah, I'm just obsessed. All right. On to you, Kat.
I guess that speaks for all of us. We're all obsessed. My name's Kat. I'm from Owling Dog Design, and I like to do a lot of different things. I like doing the painting furniture, but I also like doing restoration. It's kind of a challenge, and I'll do anything that might sound like fun. I don't know, like I'll paint my kitchen floor or whatever. I decoupaged my microwave once.
I love that so much.
Let's just do weird things,
Yeah.
If it's not pretty, just make it pretty.
Yeah, I think the more that you start playing with different products and different things to use, that creative mind starts to take a little bit of a tour around. Well, hey, maybe I can put this with this, or I can do that with that. But when you get started, I mean, we're going to go over just a really quick history of paint, and then we'll get into it a little bit more. When you're looking at different finishes on paint, which kind of can dictate what type of paint you have, you've got high gloss, semi-gloss, I would say satin here, not eggshell, then flat, then matte. Then when you look at the properties of oil paint, it's high hiding, easier to apply, easier to touch up, more saturated, not stain and moisture resistant. It is harder to clean, and it is not scrubbable. When we get to our latex and our acrylic paints, then hang on, I got a banner coming up over the top. It's easy to clean, it's scrubbable, durable, more moisture and stain resistant. Shows, oh no, this is, I'm sorry, I had it backwards, you guys. This is the oil paint. Easy to clean, scrubbable, durable, more moisture and stain resistant. It does show your flaws, which can be your brush strokes, hard to apply and harder to touch up. And then it goes back to that other one when you're using matte, flat, chalk paint, high hiding, easier to apply, easy to touch up, more saturated, but it's not stain and moisture resistant. Of course, unless you put a top coat on it, it is harder to clean, but non-scrubbable, which I kind of don't agree with. If you've got a good top coat on, you should be able to do that. Now, when you talk about paints, look at how many different types of paints there are. This there's more than what I even have listed here. But
Wow.
typically the ones that we're using to redo furniture and flip smalls is going to be number 7, a Casion paint, and a number 9, and enamel type paint, or so there's just depending on what it's made of. Now, when they say a Casion paint, that means there is a liquid like water or milk used to mix in it. And that's how you make it flowable. Oil paints, their flowable solvent that they put in is oil. That's why most enamels and oil paints smell a lot, because they're higher in VOCs. Okay, what does VOC mean, guys? You know?
Volatile organic compounds.
Yes, volatile organic compound. And that's usually what smells the worst in any of your oil top coats. And there's a lot of paints out there where they'll say low VOCs, but just try them and see if they agree with you. We're going to start just talking about the techniques really quick. Furniture paint techniques can include distressing, creating a weathered look, stenciling, adding decorative patterns, antiquing, using stain to achieve a time-worn appearance, ombre, gradual color transition, layering, applying multiple paint colors, wet distressing, and wood block printing, which you don't necessarily have to use a wood block. You can use anything, a sponge, a piece of fruit, whatever. And then lastly, this was just a little example, and this is the last slide of different painting techniques. And, you just have fill in the shape or outline a shape, dabbing, where you're just dabbing a little bit with the brush, streaking through it. There's a nice little line to blending there. Scumbling is almost kind of like dabbing and twirling. You're kind of scumbling your paint around in a circle. And then overpainting, which I have an example of that going on right now. I did some overpainting to create some really unique leaves. Wet on wet. Sgraffito, which means you put a heavy layer of a paint on and then you scratch it off with a tool. Multiple textures you can put on paint. You can dry brush, which is always fun. And there are at least 35 more different techniques. So there they are.
That's amazing. You did a lot of work on that.
Yeah, you did.
Did you just snap that out of your head?
I know. You go, girl.
Well, I've been a oil painter since I was 14.
Yeah.
So, and then I was married to a house and home painter and had a lot of experience with house painting, with latexes. And then when I got into college, then of course it was pottery and art, and I had done it all. I've tried every craft. So furniture caught my fancy, and basically, if you have a picture painting history, you can take a lot of those techniques and instill them into your furniture and really create some very unique pieces of furniture. If that's what you're looking for, you might not want. Now, the last thing I'm going to say, and then I'm going to be quiet, is I read a blog today, and it was a gal that was talking about how chalk paint is really for painting furniture. And I thought, wow. So I read it and I got to the point where she didn't do any prep, because a lot of those chalk paints, they say, oh, you don't need to do anything. Just wash it and go ahead and paint it. That's okay if you don't really mind what kind of finish you're getting. But she had 2 pieces of furniture that were glossy on the outside. So she just washed it. She didn't scuff sand it or anything. And the clue that I got from that was when she said she was putting on the chalk paint and it was streaking. It wasn't even doing like a full coverage. That's because it was too glossy. So that was a lesson learned, I hope, for her, that was not the correct prep. Sometimes you still have to do that prep, even though you're using that chalk paint, or you are not going to have a piece that's going to stand the test of time and be something that you want to sell to somebody else if it's going to fail.
Right.
Yes, I agree 100%. Always do prep work. I mean, it's very important. If you want a piece to last, it's important to do your prep work. I mean, you can just slap some paint on it and not care. And, you might end up painting it again in a couple of years because it's chipping and peeling and failing. So yeah, I at the very least, I will do a scuff sand. That's the very least I will do, clean and my scuff sand, and then I'll clean again. I prefer to do take outside with my sander, but in the wintertime, that's not always an option. Well, I mean, it's an option, but it's not what I want. You want to go outside. So, but yeah, I think it's super important to sand. The better you scuff sand, the better you're going to have your finish be.
So. I don't always scuff sand, but if it's a high gloss finish, I would. But I often use a denatured alcohol because it just saps the finish.
Yeah, removes some of it. Yeah,
it does. It's like a scuff sand, a chemical scuff.
Right. I've even tried that liquid sandpaper stuff, and that stuff's garbage.
What it is, I don't buy that stuff because to me, you can use all the regular old preps instead of buying something with a name on it. That stuff could be denatured alcohol. I don't really know.
Maybe. I don't know. It didn't work for me.
Yeah, acetone or something like that would like destroy a finish,
Yeah.
Even a face cloth, like you guys were saying. Levon is saying a deglosser. Yeah.
Yeah. We miss you too, Levon.
Yay. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. A deglosser, yeah. I mean, I've tried that HTP paint, or is that how Heirlooms Tradition? Am I saying that right? It's supposed to be no prep.
I've heard of that. Okay.
Yeah. It's supposed to be no prep, and I did the deglosser and everything like that. I didn't sand, and I was not super impressed. I mean, maybe I didn't wait for it to cure long enough because there is a cure time, but
yeah. Annie Sloan too. Supposedly you don't have to prep with that. You just slap it right on.
I just feel like if you're gonna put all of that work into a piece of furniture, you're going to take all of that time, do it right from the start. If
I agree.
It's so much work to paint a piece of furniture in the first place. Why don't you just do it right?
Although I see people doing it and it looks gorgeous, and I don't know how it holds up. I can't say, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, maybe it's fine. I don't know. But, I just feel like I'm going to do it this way because this is the way I know how to do it. And I want to ensure my finish is going to be, hold up and hang on there. And I mean, but maybe some people don't have that same experiences that I have had. I don't know. So.
Yeah. Well, I started with Dixie Belle paints. And with them, of course, they're always wanting you to prime your stuff first, especially if you're going to have a very, beautiful monotone, maybe couple colors where there's not a lot of stuff like I do in it. And I've just been used to priming everything unless I'm doing a chippy paint and I don't care what's underneath it. And then I've seen people even take ceramic or glass items and they don't put like a bonding primer on it and they just paint over it. And I'm thinking, oh man, Yeah, I think that's probably going to come off because I would never sell a piece like that. If you're talking something very shiny, glass, ceramic,
Right.
a marble,
Mm-hmm.
you need to put a bonding primer on there.
Right.
do
Yeah.
And the best one that I've used is that Bonding Boss. It's my favorite, and I will continue to order it.
There's another good one too. It's actually called Sticks.
Okay.
And
Sticks.
you get it. Yeah, you can get it at a big box store. But it's actually a really good bonding primer.
Okay.
Yeah. I like to use like the Dixie Belle Slick Sticks, but I mean I can't afford to buy that stuff all the time. So I've got like a gallon of sticks, and it literally feels like it's almost gummy. It's
Okay.
very heavy, very dense. It has
Is there like a shellac base in it or something?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so. I don't think so. It doesn't have barely any smell.
Okay.
It's a bonding primer. It's
Okay.
not a like a covering primer.
All right.
Well,
Like shellac
really,
would be.
that's your only two choices if you have stains
Right.
and stink that you
Yeah.
want to cover.
Right.
I don't know. Shellac is pretty good at getting odor, is it not, Kat?
Absolutely.
If you
I think
spray
it's the
something with
best.
shellac, I mean, you can do shellac or you can do a Bonding Boss primer, which will take care of stink and make things stick.
Right, but the shellac will do the same thing. And it's quicker and easier if you have I buy it by by the box, because I use a lot of shellac. Excuse me.
I think it's really underrated. I do. I've been
don't
using it a
realize
bit more than what I used to.
And I use it on I would not do a piece of antique furniture without doing shellac first, no matter what I'm doing to it, whether I'm doing restoration, because I love using shellac as so many different things. I use it as a primer, but I also use it as a wood conditioner. If I have like a maple or birch, something that's really resistant to color, oak with the deep grain, you can use, there's so many different things you can do with shellac. You can tint it with like a pigment dye. You can put, what's the white powdery stuff there, it's the stuff that fills the grain.
Oh,
Not putty. It's Lavon.
Chalk?
What is that? It's like a chalk. It's like a lime, right? And they
Okay.
use it in a real French polish. So you put your shellac and you soak your ball with shellac, and then you tighten it up and get it all full, and then you can. No, not the mud. It's I don't know. I'll think about it later. It'll come to mind in the middle of the night. I'll get on here live and I'll tell you all what it is.
Right.
Was it mud?
No. It's a natural. It's a natural. It's in my shop. I can't just go grab it.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't have it in the house.
That's
Anyway.
okay.
Yeah.
Now,
But
our weather's really bad here in Michigan, and if all of a sudden you lose us,
me
we'll
too.
come back. Or if we start to glitch, I can see I'm glitching just a little bit. I'm
Yeah.
lagging. We'll come back. We've got really severe weather in Michigan right now.
Yeah.
Where I'm at, there's
It's
about
bad
8
here,
inches more snow on the ground, and probably another 8 to 10 tonight. So we're going to be digging out, and this big mass is hanging over us and interrupting our signal, and it's heading towards Krystal.
No, stay away.
My
Stay
Michigan, I love you.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I haven't really used shellac a whole lot, other than it being in primers. That's really the only time I've ever used shellac. I've used lacquer a lot. That's what I usually use to seal my odors.
Lacquer is a great finish. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you can paint, you can stain over it, and you can tone over it. Lacquer is very versatile. It's harder to use than shellac, though.
Yeah, it stinks. It's horrible. It's
Yeah,
very
and
caustic.
it really does give you like a shellac inhabits the grain of the wood, whereas lacquer is more of a coating.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. I used to use it all the time. I used to just for everything until I started using lacquer. Is hemp oil. But it's the same thing.
I love hemp oil.
Yeah, it's the same thing because it seals in the pores, into the pores instead of
just use them all together.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I read a really funny blog about hemp oil when I first started using it. And one thing you do, because it's a drying oil, you do not want to use it on leather or materials like that. And the lady that wrote the blog said her husband took the hemp oil and shined his tires up with it and destroyed his tires. Because it's the drying oil and it gets in there and it dries and it cracked his tires and just basically dry rotted his tires. So.
Oh wow! They say that. What's that stuff that you spray on there that everybody does? Colin used to always tell me not to use that stuff. Don't use that stuff on your tires because it will rot the tires. It's going to have the same kind of prep in it, but it looks really beautiful.
Yeah, Armor All or something.
Armor All,
yeah.
Well, I also saw a water-based paint in a spray can.
Wow.
Have you ever seen that?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, they have it. It's water-based paint in a spray can. I'm not sure what the uses of it is.
I think it's for decorative painting. Like they even have chalk paint spray, right?
Yeah.
Just a water-based,
Yeah. I did see that. So I've never used it. It seems kind of too expensive for me. I'm just
I want to say
you don't get far with a can of spray paint. So
it's pretty. It's pretty colors, all the nice pastels and everything. I think
a lot of people are going to spray cans for their painting because you can get a really nice enamel paint. And if you're spraying outside, the VOCs aren't going to really bother you that much, especially if you've got a respirator on. Mm-hmm. And that gives a nice finish. And I know I've seen a lot of people just using spray can of paint. And top coat. Their top coat is spray can as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, if you don't have the whole paint sprayer set up, a can of spray paint, it's tricky to use because you'll get drips with it and stuff. But you can get drips with anything. So
yeah, you can.
Yeah,
I struggle with that with spray paint is with pooling and drips and stuff like that. I do have a Wagner sprayer.
Oh.
I have one of those, and I love it. It's amazing. Like I can paint chairs. Like I love painting chairs. With
Spindles.
Yes, because I don't have to.
Right.
It's so easy, but it uses so much paint though. It uses so much paint.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I hate cleaning it. So
yeah.
I have a sprayer. I can't even think of the name. I think it's called Home Right. It's old. It's got to be pushing 7 years old. And it was the original one that Christina Muscari used to use.
Okay.
And I think that was probably why I bought it. And
Yeah.
it worked well. I've done primer. I've done pieces with chalk paint, but I've never done an oil paint through it because I don't want to clean it.
Right. Yeah. I actually bought it to paint the ceiling in the cabin. That's why I bought it. So, it took, after about 3 days of hand painting the ceiling, I said, Nathan, I have to buy one. It took me 3 hours to get the whole ceiling done. So
Cool.
I'd like to have one for lacquer.
Yes.
Oh,
yes. I have a friend who lives just about 15, 20 minutes south of me, and she has been painting furniture for years, a long time, probably 25 years now. And that's what she does. She sprays her furniture with lacquer, and it looks amazing. It looks so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
I know, and they always say that they're not too bad to clean, but I don't, lacquer, no thanks.
Yeah, and she uses a HVLP sprayer or whatever it is too, and I know those are even worse, harder to clean your sprayer. So, but yeah,
I think as long as you're using it for one type of product, it's not that bad. But if you want to use your lacquer sprayer to spray paint through, it's just not worth it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. You need a lot of tools in this business, don't you?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm going crazy not being able to go to the barn, and it's so cold in here. My house is old, and it's been really cold in here. Like it's in the single digits, which that's not the worst thing, but like it's so cold in here.
Yeah.
It's just.
I know. I feel really cooped up myself. I'm just
my heat won't even bring it up to.
You could always go sand spindles.
No, I can't work up there in that cold. I just can't stand it. Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah.
I hate this. Yeah.
I do too. I hate it so much. And I mean, I could hook my sander up to the shop vac and everything like that, but it's just, I don't know. It's still too cold out there. I'm just gonna wait till spring. Yeah.
Yeah. I've tried to spray paint here in Michigan, like in my pottery room, which is a shed. It's partially underground, but there's no heat. It's cold in there, but 50 degrees and under. Spray paint doesn't even do well at that temperature.
No, it doesn't.
It balls up, and it's just not a good thing to do. So it's difficult. You got to try to catch those warm days, like when we're starting to get towards March.
It's supposed to be warm this time next week. It's going to be up to, here. I don't know about Minnesota. It's going to be in the 40s though. So I'm going to try like heck to finish.
Yes, go out. Yeah, for sure.
I hope I can do. Because I feel bad.
Krystal, when you were on your last video, you had that Aleene's paste to put that. I think you were doing a napkin for a decoupage.
For the China hutch, that was tissue paper. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that water soluble? Could you have added some water to it and maybe stirred it up?
I think I could have, because this weekend's project, I did it already, of course, but my video that's coming up on Saturday, that's what I did for that one. I did add water to it to thin it down, because it is super thick. That stuff, I mean, even just stirring it, I'm like, what is this?
Well, I'm wondering if I can do it to my Mod Podge because I think when we let it sit there with the lid off, you
Yeah,
know, the water dries out of it. So
Mhm.
why not put some more back in it?
I'm sure you could. Yeah. I've even decoupaged with Elmer's glue, and I'll just water it down, and it works really good.
Yeah.
So it does the job when you're in a pinch.
Yeah, that's right. Wallpaper paste too.
Yeah, I want to try something. I'm trying to be good, and I'm really trying not to buy anything. And I want to use up what I have. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy, and I just bought a stamp.
You bought
It
a
was
what?
a stamp. It
Oh,
was on
good.
sale on Amazon. So I'm like, oh my
Oh,
gosh, it's like 50% off. This is it. Nothing
yeah,
else.
yeah.
I have to be good. I have to really try really hard right now to just not buy anything. I have so much stuff and so much I haven't even opened or tried or used.
I know. I have 3 unboxed power tools that I haven't set up because I don't want to put them in my main area where all the furniture is. I want to get my shop back kind of to the way that it was originally, where I had my staging wall and all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I have to build a shelf platform to put it in my second, kind of dark area.
Yeah.
It's not pretty out there, but I don't care. I've worked out there a lot. It doesn't bother me to work out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I would rather make a mess out there than I would,
In the
in that
house.
main area. It's just, it gets all over everything. I had to do over a piece of furniture was painted in one color, but it was just too close to where I was working, and I got shellac on it. And then the shellac picked up the dust in the air, so it had like this rough finish. So I had to sand it down and do the same color all over again. I said, "Oh, that's not good for. That's okay for that." But
if you had a more decorative finish or
there's no
artistic
way.
finish, that would really have stunk.
It would ruin it. It would just ruin it,
Right. Yeah. For sure. I'm working on a jewelry armoire right now, and I think
Well, I saw that.
Yeah.
It's a big one too, right? A tall one.
Oh, yeah.
You still have the purple one?
I do. I just kind of posted it today, so
She wants to keep it.
I'm debating if I'm going to put it on Etsy, because I've got so much work into it, and but I'm still scared about Etsy, posting furniture on Etsy.
I'm going there, girl. I'm going there because
I would just try it.
I just haven't gotten to any listing time to sit down and actually list stuff. Everybody does it. The big sellers, they're all on Etsy, even though they tell you not to go on there. It's just one way to get your stuff out there.
Yeah.
They take like 20% of your profits.
Yeah, I think well, I'm not, is it that much now? Is it like 10%? I know they just recently upped it or whatever, the amount that they take, but they also
it might not be quite 20.
Yeah. There is, I know they even take a percentage that comes off of shipping too. So like when you ship something, that 10% comes off of your shipping as well, which makes no sense to me. It's like you're not getting that money. That money is going directly out. You're paying to ship the product with that shipping. Why are you, charging me a fee on the shipping? So that makes, no sense to me or whatever. And then you got, your transaction fees for your credit cards and stuff like that. So, I mean, I've been selling on Etsy for quite a few years with just like crafts and vintage items and stuff like that. And they're easy to ship. And, it's just another way to make a little bit of extra cash. I don't make a lot of money on it or anything, but,
Right.
Shipping furniture is a whole new ball game because it's big. It's not like you can just put something in a bag or box and send it on its way.
We all have to take that plunge. I think, we're just going to have to do it. I've been
Yes.
dragging my feet too, and now there's just too much snow. I can't do it. No, I can't ship anything. No
Yeah.
truck will get up here. I live in the Pickers.
Oh, I know. That's another thing. Yeah. And
Mhm.
the shippers that I found had a problem with their truck. And they, they're small time, but they're really good.
Yeah.
And that's what they do is they do the artistic furniture. They go all over the country. It's a man and his wife. And they're not rich. And their truck broke
Yeah.
down in Pennsylvania. And they had to spend all kinds of money to get it fixed and get it back to their home state. So they're like recouping, to start again. And he said, or she said, that she'd let me know when they were ready to start again. But I wouldn't hesitate to use them. And they go all over the country. So it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're in Pennsylvania or Michigan or Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got ghosts in there, Krystal?
I know.
I think they're trying to get mom's attention.
Yeah.
Cute.
That's funny.
Oh my goodness. Dad's home, but mom's always has the answer, I guess.
Yeah.
Mom
Go
knows
ask your mother.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. All right. I know I've seen the light going off. And I'm like, oh, you're trying
So
to get my attention. It's not gonna go away. Yeah.
Any other techniques that you use that are really different or something not usual?
I like doing the salt wash. I've done that a bunch of times. I've never used like any of the actual salt wash products from I think it's a sea spray. Is that from Dixie Belle? I've just done it the homemade textured way with the, plaster of Paris and the actual sea salt grinders or whatever. That's how I've made my own salt wash. And because I just love texture. I love textured furniture. I love things that look old and worn and weathered and beachy. So I think I should probably I should live by the beach. I shouldn't live where I live.
Well, you could live by a beach, but it would be pretty darn cold.
The beach is 10 miles away from me, but I don't like that beach.
I don't like that beach either. I like the beach that's, warm.
That beach is dropping all that snow. Honey.
Yes.
Well, I tried a new technique on this piece I'm working on right now, and I saw it in some of the lists I was looking at that had like 35 listed different techniques for painting, and it was called underpainting.
Oh.
Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Underpainting?
I haven't.
Well, basically, you just put that base layer down of what you can even like Google that underpainting, and it'll give you an explanation of what it is. But it's when you put a color down uniquely that you still want to show up like through the paint that you're applying on top of it. Of course, I'm talking more about painting molds on your pieces.
Oh.
And I made these leaves, Kawasaki green, Mountain Dew green. I mean, they were like, woo! And I thought, wow.
It was on your last video here this weekend. Yeah, okay.
But, I thought, well, I'm just going to follow through with what this idea is. And what I did was then used watered down acrylic paints over the top, just 2 other colors. And it took that green right down. And basically all you're seeing is that kind of glow, like, coming up from underneath.
So it's almost like a paint wash.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of that is just, when you're doing acrylic painting, watercolor painting,
Yeah.
It's basically a paint wash. How much
Right.
pigment do I put? How much water do I put?
Right.
How translucent do I want it? Does it need to have more pigment in it?
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it's a game that you play, but little by little, as you get the experience, then
Right. Absolutely.
Colin always used an underpainting, if you will, when he did a crackle finish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was part of the whole process. So, and I would always say, but the underpaint or whatever you want to call it, that first coat is so pretty.
Yeah.
It comes out so good. And
Yeah.
I use an underpaint when I do canvases most of the
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
So, and I saw, I don't do this, but I've seen it done, and I think it's pretty to do. Is that they'll do an underpainting, and then they'll start with their first or second coat, and then they'll wipe away the coat so that you see the undercolor, and they create their design with that by removing paint. It's very cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
And statement Levon says, then you can always just try something and see if it
Yeah.
works. Absolutely.
I
Just
had one of them
before I should
moments
go.
today. It didn't work.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know.
Yeah.
I
Just
mixed
make
mica powder with medium gel for something that I learned from Lel from Made by Marley. And she had a different solution that she was using, almost something like a Floetrol. It was additive in there, and she mixed the mica powder and she rolled this on her stamp. So she got some really cool looking gold color for stamping. Well, I wanted to try that too. And I mixed it with just the gel medium, and it didn't work very good. Didn't stamp
Oh,
very good. It was not a good combo.
yeah.
So don't do that, people.
Oh yeah. I've spent a lot of time fixing my mistakes.
Oh, yeah. Me
just-
too. I did it today
Yeah.
on my stairs. Yeah, they look better though.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Well, Levon, I can call that technique. Don't do it, Dar technique.
Yeah. Yeah. Think about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of techniques that I like. I like actually paint washing too. I feel like that's I don't know. I'm almost more leaning towards liking that better than actually staining a piece of furniture anymore. It's I like the results a little bit better than staining it. Sometimes with staining, even using a water-based stain or oil-based stain, you get a lot of blotchiness. And with the paint washes, I don't get the blotchinesses that I get with the paint washes. So,
Right. Try an oil stain.
yeah. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I've been so sensitive with smells and things lately. Just after the year.
It's harsh.
Yeah, I'm
You
trying
have to wear a full face.
I do, but I'm trying to get away from all of that as much as I possibly can. It's like I love lacquer, but I don't know. I think just I've been using it too much.
Your paint wash. I think your paint washes are beautiful.
Thank you.
The first time that I did a paint wash, because you are the paint wash expert, Krystal. I had to channel my inner Krystal to get this project done. I had to get that board to match that toboggan.
I was like, whoa.
And I thought, am I going to use stain? Oh my God, I'm too afraid to use stain. And I thought, I'm going to try to do a paint wash like Krystal and see what happens. But it worked out. I mean, because that had really weird colors in it. So I had to pull out some burnt umber and put a little bit of that in there, because that toboggan was probably, I don't know if it was a vintage or antique, but yeah.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
like it. I'm going to do some more of it. You do really well with that.
Yeah, I like it a lot. And then even like there's been times where I've had issues, I'm sure we all have, with burn through. You know, you stand too much on the veneer and you expose that under wood. And you know, with the paint wash, you can't even tell. You don't even see it anymore.
Ooh, nice
So,
trick.
yeah. So, but to answer Levon's question, yes, I've done a black washing myself also. And
Is it block painting or black?
black washing. So it's just you're using black paint to paint wash. I mean, you can do it in any color, really. You could do it in purple if you want to. Or
yeah, I think Levon wanted to know if we ever tried block painting.
oh, black painting. I thought she said black washing. Okay, black.
No, I'm not sure what that is.
Black.
Other than taking a chunk of wood and you use it for scratching like down your paint, like to give it texture.
Okay.
And it gives it real skiffy texture coming down from the paint that you're pulling with that paint block.
I've done it with like a palette knife. I don't know if you guys remember my lemon Hoosier cabinet. I've done it with a palette knife on that one.
That was cool.
I took off, you know, I don't know how many layers of paint, and then I don't know how many I put back on. But at least it wasn't nasty, gross paint like that. So.
I painted with my hands.
Oh, have you?
Yeah. I did the edges of a little jewelry box. It was a jewelry box.
Okay.
But it was fun. And it came out really pretty.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
Yeah, yeah. Like Levon said, you know, you're going to be doing this over dry paint, and it gives it texture like troweling.
I love that.
With a palette knife.
Yeah, that sounds
I've seen one person do it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's a Dixie Belle rep, Levon. I'm thinking Pfaff Designs maybe was the name of that gal's website, and she just had a block of wood and she did this whole piece where she just pulled that little block of wood across it, and it really gave it a neat effect.
It sounds like something that Connie would do. Yeah. Yeah.
Eliana from Why Not Redesign, she does really amazing with that wood graining tool. I don't know if you guys have seen her use her wood graining tool.
Yeah.
She just did a video with that, I believe.
Yeah, she's really good at that. So, yeah, she does a good job with that.
I guess it's CC Restyled.
Okay.
Yeah, I love her. She's awesome.
She's she's an English gal, has an English accent.
No, she comes from somewhere in the States. She's definitely American.
I'll have to check that out. I thought this other one was Pfaff Designs.
She's just fun to watch. I haven't seen her in a long time, actually. I saw her on YouTube the other day, but I don't see her as much as I used to see her a lot on Facebook. She works a lot with Redesign with Prima, and she has her own. She did paint couture. She has her own colors and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's super creative and just fun. Like the time goes by when you're watching her.
So I guess we won't see Pfaff Designs at Dixie Belle anymore.
Why?
I don't know. Levon just said that she's not with them anweanymore. You know, I love Dixie Belle. Yeah. I mean, them fellas that were on last week, that tells you something out of everything that they've been watching, that they're noticing Dixie Belle paint. You know, that people are using that and the properties of it, that they want to try it.
Mm.
I mean, I like it better than Annie Sloan. I have a bunch of Annie Sloan paint, but
I love Annie Sloan, but it's just too expensive to use. I couldn't support my business on it.
Yeah. I know you got to think of your profit margins and things like that, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Connie from Pfaff Designs is still with Dixie Belle, Levon said.
I took that word as gospel, Levon. Oh my gosh.
Rewind.
Oh. And Cece is not, whoever Cece is.
Yeah, Cece, I don't know if she was ever with Dixie Belle?
Probably not.
One time maybe before I knew her, but she's been a redesign with Prima person and for a long time, and paint couture. She does a lot of stuff. I have a bridge to sell you, Levon said. Okay.
Well, I might need one if it keeps snowing to get out of here.
Oh gosh.
Well, Kat, you brought up Crackle. I mean, that's a different effect of paint. Are there any others out there? We got Crackle. We got using a block to give you different design. What else? What other things do we do?
Oh, that reminds me. I've never tried it myself, but I've seen somebody use Epsom salts. They put it in their paint. Well, first they'll paint their piece of furniture one solid color. Then when that's completely dry, they'll put full Epsom salts into their paint. They'll mix it in. They'll paint on
any salt will do.
Yeah.
Like baking soda.
But these are really big chunks. So the Epsom salts are really big chunks. And then
like a sea salt or something.
Yeah. What she did was after she painted it on, the second coat, which would be a different color, she took a putty knife, a metal putty knife, and scraped off the Epsom salts and then exposed all of the undercolor, which was I think it was yellow, and then the outer color was white. So, and she did like a sunflower theme on it.
Well, you see that Epsom salt will come off a lot easier. Like when I used the Bentonite clay mixed in my paint, my chalk paint, and I put that on an item, forget it. It's really, really hard to get off. So if you're looking for something that you want to stick on something, put that in there, because you can't really, it's kind of fine and it mixes with the paint. And then you've got a pretty solid mixture over your piece. And if you peak it up a bit, like make it choppy, when you try to remove those, it's not popping off like that piece of salt. You're really scraping it off. I mean, you can't hardly get it off.
Yeah, right. I have done it before myself too. I used baking soda as an additive, but the one thing I noticed about that is baking soda has a shelf life. So the pieces I painted with baking soda, over time, they almost like molded. There was like a mold or a weird film that would appear on the paint over top of the paint.
Wow.
So I don't really recommend using baking soda. I mean, I don't know if maybe you're supposed to use a certain type of sealant or something like that would, maybe seal that in. But so that has been my experience with using baking soda, because it does have a shelf life. So
okay, Kat.
No, it's pumice.
Pumice.
I was trying to think of pumice.
Okay.
But I use it's a little different, or it's calcium carbonate. It's that they call it plaster of Paris.
Yes.
Yeah. But that's very, 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 very similar to baking soda. All that stuff is the same,
Yeah, I like using that to thicken up my paint, or if I'm using, latex paint.
Yeah, make a chalk paint. Just make
Mhm.
a homemade chalk paint.
Yeah. So, and it works good. So, yeah.
The only other technique that I saw, and I did try it myself, was Kristana from Bella Renovara. She
Mhm.
had the piece and she had it all painted in that. But what she did was is she sprinkled her starch on
Okay.
top of the furniture. Then
Yeah.
she
Okay.
sprayed it with a water bottle.
Oh
Okay.
wow.
Then she
That's
painted.
fun. Yeah.
Then she put some more sprinkles and sprayed some more. And I would say doing that probably made some of them chunks come off a lot easier when you went to scrape them off. But
Yeah.
basically, you're kind of getting the same look anyway, but it is another way to do it.
I bet the coffee grinds would be good for that.
Yeah, they might be.
If you want to do it in order to scrape it off to create that kind of a finish.
Yeah.
That's your
Oh,
homework assignment, Kat. We want you to try it. Let us
I'll
know.
try it on the stairs. Yes.
give it a nice exfoliation with your
Yeah.
coffee. I've actually made my own stain before using vinegar,
Yeah.
steel
Yeah.
wool, and coffee
Yeah.
grounds.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I didn't know you could mix that with the
Yeah.
coffee grounds.
So I added them to a jar
Yeah.
and with the vinegar and the steel wool, and I added the coffee grounds to give it more of a,
Yeah.
a darken it a little bit because the steel wool makes it more gray. And I don't know if it's technically called stain or if there's a different word for it, but it's so crazy because the steel wool will actually like disintegrate in the vinegar.
And it doesn't look like anything when you're putting it on, but it dries this
Right.
dark brown. Yeah, it's very
Right.
interesting. You know who
Yep.
does that is oh, I forget the name of his channel. He's a guy and
Okay.
he lives someplace cold. It could be Michigan. Not Barry. Another guy, Dashner. Dashner Designs.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he was on YouTube for years doing furniture restoration. He did a lot of mid-century modern, like Barry, but he wouldn't get in front of the camera. And then I think his wife had said to him, "Get in front of the camera and let people see what you look like," because you always saw like the hands doing things, but you never saw the guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now he's like fun and funny in front of the camera. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, that works really well.
Right.
And he does that with the vinegar and the steel wool. He does that like quite often.
Mm-hmm.
And when you say, I've seen Thomas Johnson do it too, but usually it's that guy Dashner is his last name.
Yeah. I can't remember where I seen that before. It was on Pinterest. I did this years ago.
Oh yeah.
Pinterest. Oh my gosh. I tell you what, if you gotta watch that, it sucks you in. It's like a black hole.
Oh right.
Sucks
Right.
you in. I'll be like, what? I've been sitting on my phone for 2 hours. I gotta get off my butt. Yeah. So
I try not to go there.
I know, I do too. I'm sure I have so many pins on there. I need to go and revisit because I just pin them and I never look at them ever again. You know.
Yes, not Dar. Lavon.
Yeah.
She's addicted to Pinterest. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't go on there very much, but I used to use it a lot. I used it a lot in my other house. I got a lot of really good ideas for storage, and I actually I had built a wall and added. I didn't build the wall; the wall was there. But what I did was I built an additional wooden shelf system over it with board and batten.
Okay.
And I created, like, I made the shelf and everything and did the design for just one single shelf. and then I did coat hooks on it. And the coat hooks, the reason I built it was for the coat hooks. I found these coat hooks in a thrift store.
Yeah.
But big ones like this, which you may not be able to see, but with white ceramic balls on them.
Okay. So you built this whole design just for the coat hooks.
Just for the coat. And it came out so good. And I am not a builder. Like I do things like very crude. In those days, I had I always used a handsaw. I didn't even have any kind of
God.
Yeah. And it came out so good. I was very proud of that. Yeah. And so when you walked into my front door, there was like a little coat area. And I think I did the bottom as well so that you could sit down.
Oh, okay. Like a bench.
So cute. Yeah. It was really cozy. Made a big difference.
Yeah, for sure.
My boys are like, oh, that's cool.
Well, we are at the hour mark. And what I want to tell everybody is if they would like us to discuss a certain topic, you can see our Gmail running down along the across the bottom. I'll get it out. Nice. Also, I have all of us listed there, which is our YouTube sites. And you can go there to try to get a hold of us individually, or we are all linked into that Fippin Bunch Gmail. You can send it there. I want to thank everybody that did participate this evening. And who's going to be here next Wednesday?
Me.
Hey.
Me.
And I think we'll have Levon back then too.
Yeah, I hope so.
Thank you, everybody. If you live in a warm state, send me your address. I'm moving in.
Me too.
Hey, guys, talk to you later.
Bye. Bye, Levon.
Bye.